The 576th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 100 times your entry with the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Sign up today with promo code MMASGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code MMASGPN. We're also brought to you by the Mega Memorial Merch Sale, 15% off everything in the SGPN merch store. Just use promo code SGPNMay.
Howdy ho, Gennrinos. Welcome to episode 576 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. This one's going out to Metal Church 666, one of our YouTube commenters. Hail Satan. Thank you, Metal Church, for watching and commenting on our show. I'm one of the hosts, Jeff, not Satan Fox. Thank you for coming to the show. This is our last regional event that we're going to cover for a few days. We've been covering regional MMA events since last a week from Sunday. It's been a long run here, but it's usually a fairly successful run with Gumby Vreeland making the picks for us. We're concluding this batch with LFA event that's coming up a week from this coming Friday. So we'll get you all the winning picks for that LFA event for you now. And then tomorrow, UFC is back, baby, and it's a pay-per-view. I called it a B level pay-per-view, but still it's a pay-per-view with a title fight in the line and a big fan favorite Dustin Poirier going up for the title once again. So we will cover all that starting with the prelims tomorrow, and then the main card will be on Thursday. But in the meantime, we got some regional picks, and this is where my man shines. Gumby's had a good couple weeks because he hasn't had to make UFC picks against me. He's been making regional MMA ones, which he's making faces like he thinks he's better than me at UFC as well.
I think 2 events ago I smoked you in the UFC.
It's Daniel Gumby Vreeland. Say hi, ladies and gentlemen, to Daniel.
Fine.
Hi, Daniel.
You're on a one event win streak.
I'm on a one event win streak, but I'm way ahead of you, but nonetheless, regional. I don't have a hold a candle because I don't try. I know not to try against this man because he's good at picking regional events. Even if he screws up a main event here or there, he's still good. All right.
I feel pretty good about this main event too. I think I said that on Sunday's show, but I feel good about this one too. So
yeah. So LFA 185 brings us 2 title fights. Thoughts on the strength of the card? It seems pretty solid.
Yeah, I like it. Both these guys
Maybe
in the
heavy
lightweight main event. It's kind of fun. No, I think
no.
I think you're gonna find the other people we're covering on the first 3 fights are. I mean, you're right. There's more weight on the top, but I don't think it's all that top heavy.
Oh, good to hear. LFA normally doesn't disappoint. So, do you have your breakdown for how you're doing on LFA? Do you know off the top of your head or not?
Oh, I could do it. I mean, we went 4-0 on the last LFA event.
There you go. That's good enough.
And hit a plus 240 dog on it too. So
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
What more do you
want than that?
Exactly. They do want more. They want you to get the main event right.
I did last time. Yeah.
It's true. Gumby likes the main event here too, which is a good thing to know. We also like other shows that are on our network, including our friends, even though one of them normally beats me in fantasy sports leagues that we're in. That would be Cody. But Cody and Rob are our friends that host the NASCAR Gambling Podcast and the F1 Gambling Podcast. They had a busy week, or this past weekend, with the Indy 500, Monaco Grand Prix, and the Coke 600 all going down. And they got you covered every weekend and every week for all the racing that goes down in NASCAR and F1. And they're good at what they do, just like my friend Gumby here. So plus, hopefully this contest is still running. Go and check and see if it is. They're giving away a Kyle Larson die-cast car. So it's free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/race. And usually our bosses are pretty generous, even though Memorial Day weekend's over. I'm guessing the code I'm going to give you probably still works in our merch store. We had a mega Memorial Day merch sale this past weekend, 15% off everything in the merch store. Promo code SGPN May. So that's why I'm thinking it's probably going to work till at least the end of May. So go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, get some cool swag, get sticky shirts, get mantle shirts like the one I'm wearing. All that is at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. And SGPN May will get you a discount. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, LFA 185 is what we're talking about today. Gennrich versus Lewis, Hammond, Indiana. Have you ever been there, Gumby?
No.
Have you been to Indiana at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Never Hammond.
I think
Mostly just passing through, I think I said.
Yeah, I was just going to say, same with me. I think I passed through Indiana. I don't remember ever staying in Indiana. So road trip, Gumby.
I would like to fight card. I'll be honest. I'm not flying out to Hammond, Indiana for it, but I wouldn't mind seeing it.
You can see it on UFC Fight Pass. How about that? That's even easier. You don't have to get off your couch that way. So this is going down Friday, the 7th of June. So a week from, so basically a week and a half from today. Today being Wednesday. Wink, wink. Tuesday, I mean, wink, wink. June the 7th, 9 p.m. Eastern start time. UFC Fight Pass, easy to find that way. People have asked us in the Discord if Fight Pass is worth it. If you're listening or watching the show, then yes, Fight Pass is definitely worth it because they've got pretty much all the regional stuff that you're going to want to watch is on there. So you're going to make your money back. It's not that expensive either. Not that I want more money to go into Dana White's pocket, but I'm telling you, it's probably worth your money. This is going down in the Horseshoe Hammond Casino, Hammond, Indiana, in a cage. 13 fights. Gummy's picked the 5 that are most intriguing to him. And then we'll do, as usual, the lightning round, which was a few months ago, maybe even a month ago. A listener viewer of ours suggested that we do some bonus picks in the lightning round, and boom, it's taken off like wildfire caused by lightning. And there you go. We're going to move on to our first fight of the day. It is a flyweight fight, which is always fun. Miguel Sanson, United States. Jordan Burkholder, United States as well. 3 5-minute rounds. This is as of now, it's listed as the main event of the prelim portion of the fight card. All right, Burkholder, Butters is the nickname. Fantastic. Maybe the best character on South Park, top 5 at the very least. He is 5-1, 1 knockout, 3 submissions, never been finished in a fight. And that is all I got for him. Actually, has he fought in the LFA before? I forgot to check that. I don't think he has. Oh yes, 1-1 in LFA. So that is what I got there for you. Hopefully Gumby will surely know more, especially if the man has already fought a few times at LFA. Sanson, 4-2 with 1 knockout. He also has some finishes, never been finished in a fight himself. All his fights have taken place in LFA. He's lost 2 straight fights. He's 3 years younger than Burkholder, 5 inches taller, 8 inches reach. That is insane for a flyweight. How tall is this man, Gumby?
I don't know if he's all that tall or if it's just that Burkholder is so short. He's only 5'2", I want to say.
Yeah.
So Burkholder's
Sanson's 5'7", yeah.
Yeah. So Burkholder's kind of short. I'm going to be honest. I went into this fight when I saw it posted being like, Miguel Sanson, first of all, is going to have some dog money attached to him here because Burkholder's got a little bit more of the name. He comes from a wrestling background. He was a college wrestler. And Sanson's record doesn't look all that good, but I know Sanson's losses are both to 2 really good opponents. He lost to Antoine Ho and he lost to Mark Climaco. So I know that they're high level losses. So I went into watching film on this one being like, Sanson probably a dog, and I probably like him because it's probably going to be Burkholder like -250. And then I rewatched, and I think I just had bad taste in my mouth from the one time I picked Burkholder, and he looked bad in that fight. Because if you go back and you watch all the other fights, he actually blends his wrestling and his striking together really well. And if you watch both of Sanson's losses, the one to Antoine Ho and the one to Mark Climaco, is Sanson literally just doesn't win when he can't get his wrestling going, when he can't be the dominant wrestler. Because he actually took down Antoine Ho a couple of times. And then just the scrambles got the best of him. He wound up in worse positions. He wound up tired in the striking, and it didn't work out. Then he couldn't wrestle Mark Climaco because Mark Climaco is a pretty solid wrestler too. He winds up losing that fight. So the blueprint out to beat Miguel Sanson is kind of obvious. It is be a better wrestler than Miguel Sanson, and then most of the rest of the stuff takes care of itself. And I think in this case, Jordan Burkholder has that. I think he's going to be the tougher wrestler here. I think, I remembered him not being able to blend his wrestling and his striking together quite well, but then I really went and watched, and I think I maybe had some sort of recency bias from that loss or some sort of bad taste in my mouth from it. Because, when I went and watched back for a 5-1 regional guy, he does the things he's supposed to do. Now, obviously the reach is a concern, and, will he just slip into being the bad version of the fighter he was when he lost to, I'm trying to remember, was it something Jones? I want to say it was something Jones beat him.
John Jones. Yep, you're right.
Is his name really John Jones?
John Jones at flyweight. No, he lost to Burkholder is Jackson Winks. There you go. There's John Jones. Or Josiah Reyes. He lost to.
Nope, not at all who I thought it was. But anyway, Burkholder, I think, is going to, as long as he doesn't slip into that worst version of himself, should be fine here. I think he's going to be a big favorite because of the reach and stuff. I'm probably not all that interested in him if he does come in where I think at -250. But if he slinks down into the ones, I might be more enticed there. So give me Burkholder.
Can we address the elephant in the room here, Gumby? You are choosing the short king.
Oh no, I said I was off short kings.
Yeah, exactly. You said short queens are okay, but short kings 5'2" is kind of sharp. Both my kids are bigger than that already. Your kids are almost that tall, I'm sure.
Yeah, my kids are 4 and 5, and they're that tall.
Still, you're going with not just a short king, a short king who's could be -250.
Yeah, well, I said I wouldn't be. I wouldn't advise betting him if he's in the -200. Yeah. I think I'm cool with him in the -100. I just think he's gonna get in on the legs of Sanson, and also Sanson doesn't win very many fights when he isn't the better wrestler. So, yeah, despite being a short king and you reminding me my rule that I'm not allowed to pick short kings, I'm still gonna take Burkholder.
He's already down at the legs, so it's easy to get in on them, right?
He doesn't have to even duck
already. Yeah, exactly. He is there already. Ha 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 ha! I'm sure he could beat me up, despite me being a 1.5 feet taller and twice his weight. I'm sure he would have no trouble with me. I'm not kidding anyone here. All right, we are moving up to a featherweight fight. Jose Ferreira. He's from Chile. How do they say Ferreira in Chile? Is it Ferreira or is it Ferreira? Do they say it like the Portuguese do?
No, it's Ferreira, I believe.
Okay. Josie Ferreira. How's that?
Yeah, Jose
Ferreira versus Cássio Jr. from Brazil. So which means his last name is not Junior for sure, right? He's got some Cássio Jr. is a nickname for sure, but that's what he's going by. So I like how Brazilians can just their nicknames become their official name. I dig it. It's cool. All right. Barao is a nickname, just like Henan Barao, excuse me, is a nickname, which means Baron. He's 8-0-1, 3 knockouts, 5 submissions. So he's finished everyone. 1-0-1 in LFA. TKO, a win in his last fight. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Finally, I can say it. 3 shows we've gone without me saying it. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. SGPN Maze. Your promo code gets sticky with it, y'all. Used to fight at featherweight and welterweight, 2014 Pro MMA debut. Ferreira Tiro Loco. Crazy shot is what it translates to. Does that sound right to you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. He's easy. He's easy going. He's gonna be. Ferreira is 11-1, 3 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once. This is his debut in LFA. TKO lost in his last fight. Regional champion. Used to fight at lightweight. 3 years younger than Junior. An inch of height over him. And maybe we can talk about later what happened to Henan Barao. But anyhow, go ahead.
Ferreira is going to be an underdog here. I think plus 150. And I'm going to go with him here. I think he's going to be an underdog for a couple of reasons. It's his LFA debut. Usually tends to be something that the books take into account. And then secondly, coming off of a loss, taking this fight, not on short notice, but not on short notice, if you catch what I mean by that.
Yeah.
You know?
Not a full camp.
Yeah, not a full camp. But I do like so many of the things he does better. If you watch Cássio Jr., he's got really good jiu-jitsu. In one of his fights, he threw a leg kick, knocked the dude down to just a knee on the leg kick, and then sprinted at him and jumped onto his back like a spider monkey. And immediately was looking for subs. And that style of jiu-jitsu is really fun. I think it's a nightmare to try to beat a guy like Jose Ferreira here with that style. Because first of all, Ferreira, a better kickboxer, he cuts better angles, he uses better length than Junior does. And on top of that too, in any grappling exchanges I've seen Ferreira in, he is extremely safe and technical in either getting up from the attempt that somebody else is bringing, or, once in a while he mixes his own in there. I actually think his jiu-jitsu is not bad either. It's not going to be as good as Cássio Jr.'s, but I also think he'll sort of have the advantage of not having to grapple with Cássio Jr., being that he's much taller. I also, I mentioned that I think Cássio Jr. will be a favorite because he's fought in LFA before, and typically that means he has come from fighting better competition. I don't think that's true here. Ferreira fought for Combate Global. I want to say his last 7 fights or something like that were for Combate, and obviously there's a high level of competition there. And if you look at his record, like I actually think he's maybe had the stronger strength of schedule than Cássio Jr. So give me the length, give me the reach, give me the technically safeness. And actually, if I want to pile one more thing on there too, I like Ferreira's cardio as well. So with all those things in his favor, and probably a plus money next to his name, like plus 150, I'll take Ferreira.
Cássio Jr. kind of sounds like a video game system, like a portable one. A Cássio Jr.
I'm pretty sure it's a children's keyboard. Am I wrong about that?
Oh yeah, yes, you're right. I was thinking a watch, but yes, you're right. They're probably Cássio Jr. A mini keyboard. I'm sure we have a bunch. We have so many musical instruments here. I'm sure we have a few Cássios in this here household. All right, here we go with our Underdog Fantasy ad read, which is a good thing because I'm going to tell you a bunch of cool ways that you can make some money on Underdog Fantasy and save some money and get some discounts. The NBA playoffs are here, and our sponsor Underdog Fantasy wants to make it a lot more interesting. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing the pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and so much more. You make entries of all basketball or mix and match across your other favorite sports. You win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. Check out their homepage, underdogfantasy.com. They have daily specials on there. And if you're a new customer, you get a pick'em special in the lobby when you sign up. And there's a bunch of ads here. And Underdog will also be running a ton of different promos, bonus cash airdrops, specials, giveaways, and more throughout the NBA playoffs. So make sure to follow @UnderdogPicks on Twitter to keep an eye out. And Underdog is available in 30 plus states, including California, Texas, and Canada. They also just launched Champions, their player versus player format in Florida. Sign up with our promo code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. All right, let's move on with some more winners for you. We are going up main card fight, third from the top, welterweight fight. Tyler Scott, Joey Hart. America versus America. At welterweight, 3 5-minute rounds. Hart, the Hitman Hart. I appreciate that. Joey, the Hitman Hart. Nickname, 5-1 with 5 knockouts. Never been finishing a fight. 1-0 on LFA. He's won 3 straight fights. Used to fight at middleweight. 8 years younger than Scott. 3 inches of height over him. Sugar-Free Scott. We got a couple of good nicknames here, actually. Tyler, Sugar-Free Scott. Joey, the Hitman Hart. Sugar-Free Scott is 8-3, 6 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. This is his debut. He's won 4 straight fights, 5-1 over his last 6. He's won 3 straight fights via TKO. He also has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. The shirt, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Actually, I'm wearing it right now. SGPN May is your code. Get sticky as well when you're in there. Okay, go ahead.
I think Joey Hart's going to be a massive favorite here, despite having very similar records, very similar types of results, right? They both got knockouts on the record. I think Joey Hart's going to be negative 300. And the reason being is he's got a frame that immediately evokes like a Peyton Talbot or, if you want to go that way, like a Sean O'Malley. Like he's tall, he's lanky. He also showboats, kind of similar to both of them earlier in the career, fights with the hands down, tries to draw you in, is really freaking explosive. I'm not trying to be mean about Tyler Scott here, but he just seems like the exact person they need to play into that. He's a guy who's fought for mostly like this, like promotions in the Midwest, right? Like I think he fought for Caged Aggression in his last one, which is that organization that like Pat Miletich boxed for recently. Yeah, he boxed Mike Jackson and he didn't come out for the 3rd round. Mike Jackson now has a boxing win over Pat Miletich. Do with that what you will. And so like Tyler Scott's fought for that lower level of competition than Joey Hart for sure. And in addition to that, I can't remember if it was his last fight or 2 fights ago, he threw like this overhand right on this guy who was 80 times slower than him. It hit him. The guy fell in slow motion. And he just had like this devastating 30-second knockout. And I think that that's probably bad for Tyler Scott in this fight, because I think he's going to keep seeing all of these things he did that knocked people out on the regional scene and against a bad level of competition. And I don't think I've seen enough of like the improvements he would need to fight somebody like Joey Hart. Like he thinks his hands are going to land and he's going to get that knockout early. Against Joey Hart, Joey Hart's not going to be there when he throws that punch. He's going to throw that punch. He's going to throw it at air. And then he's going to get hit with some kind of mean counter from Joey Hart because he's faster. He's also taller, right? Like, did you say Joey Hart's? I want to say he's like 6'3", if I'm not mistaken.
Let me check here. Joey the Hitman Hart, you mean?
Yeah,
You're not
I
saying
think
his full name properly.
yeah, I want to say he's 6'3", and
Yes, you're
yeah,
correct.
and Scott's tall for a welterweight, right? Like I think he's 6'6" somewhere in there, and on the regional scene, that's like used to being as tall or taller than the guys he's fighting.
6
And so
feet.
like, yeah. And so now he's got like some of these bad habits where I think he thinks this is going to work. It's clearly not going to work. Joey Hart's going to knock him out. So yeah, it's probably Joey Hart -300. If it comes in south of that, I mean, steam it up until it's out of control.
Does Joey Hart have a portal tattooed on his chest as well, just like Peyton Talbot?
He does not. But
no.
When you watch this fight card, you will understand what I mean by the Peyton Talbot references. Yeah. Like he's or Sean O'Malley or insert guy with an afro here.
Yep. I can definitely understand what you're talking about here. All right, let's go to a title fight, not just a normal title fight, a title fight where I have to ask Gumby a question about, of course, the LFA interim strawweight championship is being defended here.
That's correct.
Yes. Why, Gumby? Why is it interim? Why is it being defended?
It's being defended because she got it when Rose Conceição had to pull out of a fight and could not defend her LFA strawweight belt. And Natasha Kuziutina, which, by the way, I just gave you a pronunciation key there.
No, I'll forget.
Yeah, Natasha Kuziutina won the interim championship. And then they were set to unify them, or were planning on unifying them. And Rose Conceição got an invite to fight on Contender Series. I want to say the first week of September or the last week of August. So obviously she's not going to defend her title when that's on the horizon. She's also fighting Fatima Klein on Contender Series, which is an absolutely sick fight. You're going to get the CFFC strawweight champion versus the LFA strawweight champion.
Cool. Kuziutina. Italian again,
yeah, as long as we say it Italian, it works.
It's true. It does make it easier for me to say names. It's true. All right. Let's tell you about the challenger for the interim. Actually, I didn't even tell you who was fighting yet, did I? Gumby told you the one. Natasha Kuziutina, who is the interim champion. She's the Tom Aspinall in this fight, defending her interim title versus Bruna Ellen. So we've got Russia versus Brazil, 5-5-minute rounds at strawweight. Ellen is 7-4 with 1 knockout. She's never been finished in a fight, so she owes us some finishes. This is her LFA debut. Loss win over her last 6. I want to say it's inconsistent, but technically that is consistent. She's consistently inconsistent. She's not fought since April 2023 because she was a Bellator fighter, and that happens to Bellator fighters. 5-4 in Bellator. Used to fight at a flyweight, 7 years younger than Kuziutina, an inch taller. Kuzia is the nickname. Kuzya. If you're writing a card or something to her, that's how you spell it. 5-1 with 3 submissions in her career. Never been finished in a fight. 1-0 in LFA. She is the interim champ, as I mentioned. This is her first title defense, and she has won 4 straight fights.
Yeah, and actually her last loss, awkwardly enough, was to Fatima Klein, who is fighting Rose Conceição, the current LFA strawweight title. It was just full circle, that one right there. Kuziutina is going to be a favorite. I'll say -225-ish for her. And I'm going to pick her here. I like some of the things Bruno Ellen does, but I think the big downfall for her here is just like in all the fights where she's grappled and like had trouble with somebody's size or strength, she seems to tire and she seems to give up too. Like she fought Christina Warhorse Williams and just like kind of couldn't get her grappling going in that fight. And not that Warhorse doesn't have like a little bit of grappling abilities, but like most of her game is just by being like a rangy striker. But she couldn't get the grappling going against Warhorse. And Kuziutina here is a very high level grappler. Literally her only loss was running into Fatima Klein, who is like an elite level grappler. Perhaps one of the best unsigned grapplers in the women's strawweight division. And I think, Kuziutina was like early enough in her career there where she hadn't really learned how to deal with somebody who can grapple as well as her. I think here she's going to have a massive grappling advantage against Bruna. I think she's going to have top control whenever she wants. I wouldn't be surprised to see her find a finish in there, but like Kuziutina, top control nonstop until it's over.
Have you ever tried grappling a Warhorse I assume it's not fun or easy. So
I mean, Christina Williams is quite good, but I'm assuming you're making a joke about grappling an actual horse.
Yeah, and not just any horse, a war horse. Like there's no shame in not being able to get your grappling going against a horse, a war horse, nonetheless. Yep, I am trying to make a joke. You're right, Gumby. That's basically the story of my life. I assume you're trying to make a joke. All right. The one thing that's not a joke, rhythm. Rhythm's not a joke. So rhythm helps us get paid. And they're going to help you get paid too. I'll tell you why. RITHMM is how you spell it. If you're betting on NBA player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm gives you a menu of the best player props for every single NBA playoff game, making it easy to go through and find the best props to put your money on in seconds. Rhythm's predictions are backed by over 3 years of data and a team of data scientists and quants that focus on fine-tuning our algorithm to give you the best shot at winning. Rhythm pairs its predictive predictions with player prop graphs to help you feel even more confident in your picks, which you can make wherever you normally place your bets or DFS picks. From superstars to bench players, Rhythm finds the best player prop lines, all backed by AI data, without you needing to endlessly scroll a sportsbook. Rhythm also allows you to create your own custom NBA models so you can get AI-backed money line, spread, and total picks for every playoff game. Start a free 7-day trial and start winning your NBA player props with Rhythm, available wherever you get your apps. Okie dokie, main event time. It's true. This is a solid fight card, as Gumby said. All right. This is for the LFA Men's Lightweight Championship. Kegan Gennrich, the defending champion. This is his first title defense. He's up against Richie Lewis. And this is a 5-5-minute round, at lightweight US versus US. Lewis, savage. Richie Lewis, 5-0 with 2 knockouts, 1-0 in LFA. Was a regional champion and 1-0 as a grappler. So a limited resume at this point in his young career. Machine Gun Gennrich, 8-2, 1 knockout, 4 submissions. He's been submitted once, 5-1 in LFA. He's the current champion. He's won 6 straight fights. He's not lost since August of 2020. Won 2 straight fights via submission, and he's 5 inches taller than Lewis.
So I actually think Lewis is going to come in here as the favorite. I could be totally wrong on this, but he is a wrestler from Rutgers. I want to say he either made U.S. team trials or was like on the USA wrestling team. I'm on it. You're on that. Yeah, like he was a high-level wrestler. Let's put it that way. And wrestling at Rutgers is no joke. Like Rutgers is a very legitimate Division I place. And I think him being 5-0 and largely getting his wrestling going in every single one of those fights is kind of just blinded people to the idea that like perhaps he will just do this to everybody. As a result, I think he'll be -150, and I think you're going to get Gennrich at like +125. And I'm all over Kegan Gennrich here. Like Kegan Gennrich is the opposite of what you expect from every single regional lightweight prospect, right? Every time we see a regional lightweight prospect, it looks like they're made out of marble, or we're like a former Division I wrestler, and you're like, oh, that guy can do this, or that guy can do this. Kegan Gennrich just looks like a guy from Wisconsin, because that's what he is. And the thing is he's so good at like the little shit. Like the little shit is so good on this guy. Like the 1-2 that he throws and the way he throws it from both stances, because he throws it from his right. The guy will start to feel that out. He'll switch to being southpaw. He'll land that same exact 1-2, but from a slightly different angle, and it messes the guy up. His distance management, and also while not biting on feints, is really expert. Like, I really love the fact that like somebody will feint 3 times. He'll stay right in their face, hit him with something. Then they'll actually go to throw something and he'll be out of range. Like, I love that about him. And then in addition to that, if you watch, like, he's been taken down before, which is obviously a cause for concern against Richie Lewis, but like he gets up quick. He's got good submission ability. And when we add in the fact that I've seen Richie Lewis not be able to wrestle for 15 minutes nonstop without being tired, at least not in like an MMA wrestling. Like, I'm trying to remember the name of the guy he fought that I watched, but it was like, the guy was like 4-3 or something like that. Stuffed like 2 of his takedowns. And by the time he was in the 3rd round, he was breathing really heavily and super easy to hit. Luckily for him, his opponent wasn't going to hit him. Kegan Gennrich will absolutely light this guy's face up if that happens. So if Gennrich comes in here as a dog, I think you got to get it before it switches. Although then again, maybe with Richie Lewis and his wrestling pedigree behind him, maybe the money just keeps coming in on Lewis. And if that's the case, I will happily take advantage of Kegan Gennrich's size.
All right. Richie Lewis was a under 23 world champion in freestyle wrestling. Does that change anything for you?
I mean, that's even higher than I had originally said. I think I think he said he was at world teams, but I guess if he was on the US 23 under 23s and won it, well, I guess that's not the senior team.
But still, it's impressive.
He probably had senior team trials at some point in time in his life. But yes, like he was, he's a very good wrestler, and I think he's got to learn to put it all together before he beats a guy like Kegan Gennrich.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Let's recap those picks quickly, and then we'll see if Gumby's got anything extra for you, you good little boys and girls out there. He's got Gennrich. He's got Kuziutina. Mamma mia. He's got Hart. He's got Ferreira. He has got Burkholder. Lightning round, Gumby.
Yeah, I got two
crashing again.
Yeah, I got two for you. Just like I always do. Ile Barzilay, who I know we talked about before. He's a fighter out of Israel, but he's been training at Syndicate MMA. He kind of surprised me in his last fight, how good he looked, just in all facets of the game. I'm not sure how he will be lined here because on one hand, he has been fighting the higher level of competition. But in the other hand, he's fighting a guy whose last name is Majidov, and it ends in OV. And you know what that means, from Tajikistan. But that guy has fought only people who are 0-0. And nobody else. So for that reason, Barzilay, I think, especially the way that he's acquired his striking through Syndicate MMA, I think is going to run over him. He probably winds up being a parlay piece if we look and see that line is in the -200s, -300s come fight time. But I think this is like a walkover match for him. And then the other one I'm going to throw out there, I think he's going to be a huge underdog, is Paul Kimball. Paul Kimball fights out of Law MMA, which is where left-handed guy Danny Barlow trains out of. Brian Hall is the coach there. Excellent striking coach. He's going to be fighting Sinon Sadek, who is originally from Burkina Faso. He'd be like the first Burkina Faso fighter we broke down. But he trains out of Rufus Sport, and he's like a muscly kickboxer, and who wouldn't want a muscly kickboxer who's fighting out of Rufus Sport? But I think they're going to be big dog money on the other side here, because Sadek obviously looks the part, but Paul Kimball, he's high level boxing training all the time. His boxing has looked really good in all the fights I've seen him in. I think he's going to get what he wants in a striker versus striker match. So if you get him at big dog money here, I'll take a stab on Paul Kimball too.
All right, you go and stab Paul Kimball. Hopefully he doesn't mind. All right. There you go. All the picks in your orifices. That concludes our run. How many episodes in a row did we do? Was it 10 or was it more than that of regional MMA? It was a lot.
Oh God. It's a lot.
We haven't done UFC since this 2 Sundays ago, right?
Yeah, and it feels like more too because we squeezed 10 fights on each of the Road to the UFC episodes. So those are technically only 2 episodes, but it was 4 events worth.
Yep. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was very profitable. Well, it started off very profitable. I'm assuming it's going to end up very profitable as well. All right. Thank you for coming to this here episode. It is in the books. We shall be hanging out in the Discord. Actually, we're going to be back in your ears and eyes tomorrow because we're going to be doing UFC. Perhaps you've heard of it. It's back. We'll be doing that tomorrow. Discord at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We will be in there. As per usual, you can also catch us on Twitter, SGPN MMA, or I'm Jeff Foxwriter. He's Gumby Vreeland. I'm Jeff Foxwriter on the Instagram as well. You can catch Gumby's Top Turtle MMA podcast. He has Rude Boy Randy Brown and Hafez. Well, I can't remember his last name.
Hafez is his last name. Brazil.
Hafez is his last name. Yes.
Habibi.
Yes, Brazil.
Habibi.
Brazil. Yes. Habibi Hafez. Brazil. Habibi Hafez. That is on his Top Turtle MMA podcast this week. So they shall be good interviews. I have not listened yet, but I can assure you they will be good interviews. You can get in my Substack and enter my pick'em contest for this coming weekend's UFC 302 and read all my writings. That would be UFC, Money. Oh yeah. Too much podcast today. Money MMA.substack.com. And of course, the YouTube, please make sure you subscribe there and you can reach us in the comments there if you like. We accept evil comments and nice, polite, complimentary comments as well. That would be MMA Gambling Podcast. I better get out of here. I can't talk anymore. And sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Back tomorrow. T-Row Loco, Jeff Fox, Butters, Vreeland, and we'll talk to you then.